bit of snow here. Just lay this in. This is titanium white. There. And a gentle touch. Gentle touch. There we go. And maybe there's some snow all around the water here. Isn't that fantastic? And there's no big secret to this. It's like anything else. You learn the technique, you practice it, and you master it very quickly. There. And we're not really looking for definite shapes right now. All we're doing is just laying a little snow in. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, let's take and begin highlighting all these trees and bushes here. We'll use a 1-inch brush, and back to our golden rule. A thin paint will stick to a thick paint. So I've dipped the brush into some magic white, and then I'm going to go through the titanium white. All the magic white does is thin this down so we can get it to stick to the thicker paint that's on the canvas already. Load a lot of paint into the bristles. Probably the biggest mistake made when you first start is you're stingy with paint. You got to load a lot of paint in there so you don't have to hit so hard. All you have to do is barely touch the canvas and bend the bristles a little bit. Okay, let's make all these snow-covered little things here. All you do is just barely touch the canvas and just let them bend. There, look at all of those things. Just touch and let it bend. Here we go. You know, for so many years I was a traditional painter, and I spent weeks trying to paint a picture. Oh, the agony. I remembered. There, let's put some highlights on this little bush right out here. Okay, let's go over to this old big tree here. There. And we'll add just a little bit more of the magic white to thin it. I see it's beginning to pick up the crimson, and it's getting a nice warm pink glow. There we go. A little more paint. Okay. Now we can start coming forward a little bit. Now maybe this layer of snow will bring at this angle, just to make it so there's a change in here. Very little paint. Very, very little paint on your knife. And you just sort of have to make almighty decisions. Maybe there's a hill like that right there. Very little pressure. Okay, now if we had another big tree, maybe right here. Maybe there's a nice big tree back here. So I'm using the fan brush with still nothing on it but the gray. Now we'll add a tiny bit of white so we can make that side stand out a little more. Just a little bit. Want to keep the dark color in here. And with our liner brush, we can put a few little limbs on this one. Just wherever you think there might be a little limb growing. A little bit of paint thinner to thin your paint so it flows on here. Maybe there's a limb up there, right there. And sometime let some of these limbs wrap around the tree. So you have limbs on this side of the tree also. You don't want them all just coming off the sides. There. Okay. Now let's get a little bit crazy here. Let's take, maybe right in here, there's a nice little cabin with take some Van Dyke brown and we'll begin building. Just make a decision, drop it in. And we do the back eave of the cabin first, part farthest away from you. Just like so. Now on this side, I'm going to use white with a little bit of the gray color in it. Just enough to dull it down. We don't want it too bright. And we'll just start here and pull down. Just like so. You can lay out your basic shape of your cabin and then fill it in. Now, over on this side of the roof, we need a little bit of snow over there. Okay. And we can come in here and put some boards right here. Just pulling straight down. Over here. There we go. Isn't that a super way to make a little cabin? And all buildings work basically the same. It's just a matter of angles and perspective. If we had shows that were a little bit longer, gosh, I'd love to show you some fantastic buildings. There we go. Areas, because you've become a mud mixer. You need a paint that's strong, firm, dry. Okay, we'll give this one a little shadow right there, so he stands out as an individual. Okay. Just bring this on down. Let your imagination just wander around when you're doing these things. Now, with a clean, dry brush, we'll just lay some mist down here by tapping. Just tap the bottom of it. Over here, follow these angles and tap. Then lift upward, always following the angles that you built into your mountains. Mountains are so simple, they're hard. Okay, that gives us a nice, quick little basic mountain. Let's put one on the other side. Might as well have some good practice here. Let's come right up here. Oh, well, almighty mountain. There he comes. Let me just let him wander right on down here in front. Now this one I want to be a little darker in value than the one I have behind, so it looks closer. So I'm applying a little more color than I did on the first one. Okay, and we'll blend this one down. But I'm not blending it as much, once again. There we go. All right, clean the paint off the brush here. I probably just bought a studio. Some highlights on this almighty mountain. Maybe we'll have a little peak rolling right down through there. Okay, maybe a little lights hitting right up here. And for a shadow color, we'll take a little bit of blue and brown and white, mixed to a little darker value. And we'll just lay us some shadows right in here. Okay, and each little highlight needs its own private shadow. Maybe we'll add another little peak here. This is your mountain, so you can add what you want to on it. Okay. Now let's diffuse the bottom of it. And here we're just gently tapping. Don't want to destroy, just diffuse. And then we'll pull just to take out the little tap marks. Okay, now we'll lay some clouds on top of the mountain. And I've added a little bit of magic white with my paint just to make it a little bit thinner. As you remember our golden rule here, a thin paint will stick to a thick paint. So maybe we'll have a little cloud here that just floats right across the mountain. Okay. Maybe right up here there's one too. Seems like I remember one up here. Okay. Now very carefully we'll blend this in. Load the brush really full. Really full. Okay, let's do that again. Right into here. Boom. Take out all your frustrations. Just really sock it. Spin that brush and begin working on some basic shapes. You know, in Arizona, New Mexico, they have some of the most beautiful sunsets anywhere in the country. I have a lot of friends that live there. There we go. Okay, clean the brush again. I'm back into my white and cad yellow. Load that old brush full. All right, now then maybe, boom, right here. There it comes. Here's another. Just big old arms coming out from here. See, just make all these beautiful shapes. But you can see how this yellow is picking up that crimson that's underneath. And don't stay in one place and keep grinding it. Move it. Keep that brush moving. Washing the brush again. I about wore out a fan brush here. Yellow and white. Okay, let's go right in here and hit it again. This time, we'll just bring this one. Maybe it just works right on off in here. Just like so. Maybe there's just happy little things floating around here and there. Wherever you want them. Wherever. And right along in here, let's just do some little stringy things. So we can just put a few of those and a few little fluffy ones. Just as many of these as you want. There we go. Okay, now then,